what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bucket List. I'm really glad that you guys are here with me today and joining me for this premiere. This is a platform that I have been working on putting together for quite some time, and finally got the time to get it up and going. And it's really good because there's a lot that we're going to really be able to show, spotlight, and cover with this show. So the thing with the bucket list that I really wanted to do, and the whole idea and premise of me putting this together, was to be able to showcase and spotlight people who I have looked up to in music and people who I think have done an amazing job at building a foundation for the artists who are out today and people who I have been listening to for my whole life. So we have a really amazing guest on the show today. Actually, someone who I have spoken to before, and I know you guys, many of you guys, have seen him on one of my other platforms as well. But before we even get to that, I want to introduce my co-host. This is really amazing because I know that he has wanted to do this for a long time, and I'm happy to be in a position where I can help him to kind of conquer something that has really been a dream of his for a long time. And I see he's smiling over there on the other side. So it's really, really a good thing. I want to introduce my father, the other James Johnson. What's up, Dad?
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey,
I'm
I'm,
doing. I'm,
excited.
you know how I'm doing. I'm doing good. Um,
Yeah,
this is really exciting. Obviously, you and I have never done anything like this together before, and I
yeah,
know, from your Clutch Cargo days to, all the times that you have told me that you wanted to do radio and didn't know if
yes,
you could do it, and we've been talking about this really for a good year or two now because you said, "Oh, when I retire, I'm going to start doing some radio and I'll start doing some stuff with you." So here is your
yeah.
chance. Here's your big break. What's on your mind as we get ready to do this interview?
Well, I want to say that I'm excited. That
Okay.
is definitely on my mind, and it does feel good to be able to be in this type of forum with you, and just to be in it. Um, just anyway, to do something like this. It's
Yeah.
always been a dream of mine. And so right now, the dream is definitely coming true. I hope to be able to do this with you from time to time,
I think
and and just see how it goes. I know that you're an expert on you're definitely the expert.
yeah.
So
I don't know
you
sometimes.
this is new to me and exciting to me,
Yeah.
and and so right now I'm all in, and let's see how it goes day by day.
I think it'll be very, very good. I think I've seen it in you. Obviously, I think we both talk a lot. So I've seen it in you. I know that you will do very well with it. And I know that we had, like, some years ago, I was talking to J. Anthony Brown. That we had thrown it out. And at that time, you was like, I don't know what I would say or what am I going to ask or so what made it more appealing to you now when I mentioned the Manhattans and Gerald Austin?
Well, I guess I thought about what um what I was nervous about, and I I guess the main thing, which I really wasn't able to do today, but I know that what would really get me going is something that you guys know. It's the number one thing: research,
Yeah, yeah,
looking looking into as much as you can
yeah,
with the
absolutely,
people that you are bringing to other people. And
absolutely.
so thinking about researching made it much easier for me to make a decision
Yeah,
about wanting to do this, you
yeah.
know.
I think it's it's really exciting. I still get really excited, when I have these conversations with celebrities and just different people that I have on the different podcasts that I do. But it's not. I don't know. I don't. I used to be scared in the beginning, but then once you start really getting to know the field and you know what you're doing, and then you start to really relate to a lot of people, then it becomes a lot easier. It becomes more of a natural conversation. And
Hmm.
that our guest today, makes that really a whole lot easier because obviously, well, first of all, you two are of the same generation, so I know
Okay.
that you were
Yeah.
listening to the Manhattans, and whether it was Kiss and Say Goodbye, or I know we were talking about You Send Me or Send for Me, that the
Hmm.
Star remake, and just a lot of songs that he's made. And what's the other one I asked you about? It was Sam Cooke's.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you send me.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I think it's really cool because there's a lot that you can relate to him on. And then, it was really cool because just like you kind of passed the torch to me with a lot of stuff, he's passed the torch to his son, and his son is in the music industry. And I had the opportunity to talk to both of them together before on another platform. And that was like super
Hmm.
exciting. So I think this is going to be really, really good today. So, all of that aside, I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest in. Um, this man has been in the music industry for, I'm just going to say, decades. I'm not going to say exactly how long he's been out here. I don't want to start throwing ages and all that kind of stuff out here, but he really has laid a huge foundation for a lot of the musicians and a lot of the artists who are out there today, just in terms of, obviously,
Hmm.
obviously his vocals, but the production and just the whole business. There's a lot that we're able to learn from the people who came before us, and I've been blessed to come up on music. So like a lot of his music and a lot of the music of his peers, like I know that stuff because you were listening to it when I was little. Like we can even talk about the Keith Sweats, like who's out here, and I can go back to the first album, and I know the whole first album because that's all you played in the car when I was 6 or 7 or whatever. So it's really really cool. Like I feel blessed when I get to talk to like the legends, like Mr. Austin today, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of the music, as if I was around in that day. So it's really, really
Hmm.
cool. I'm really excited about this conversation, even though I have talked to him before. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring him on in, Mr. Gerald Austin of the Manhattans. Mr. Austin,
Yes, sir. How's it going?
I'm doing amazing, man. How are you today?
Blessed.
Uh,
Blessed by the best.
Same here, same here. So, as I told you before we actually started the show, this is my dad up at the top. Really exciting because number one, this is the first time that we've done something like this together. But I kind of
Uh-huh.
had the inspiration from being able to talk to you and your son the last time, and I know that he's always wanted to do this. So I'll let him go ahead and talk to you for a second and introduce himself and all that jazz.
Okay.
Okay. I hope I don't forget my name because I am starstruck. I'm straight. But of course, my name is James Johnson, and I've liked music, soul music, since the beginning of me hearing it, and I loved love songs, and just the whole gamut of listening to soul music, and um, and I enjoyed listening to you and the group that you were in, and it's just been it's like I wanted, and just like Junior said, I always call him Junior, is that I wanted to be a DJ,
Uh-huh.
and I used to set up on in my dressing room when I was about say in the fourth grade. I would just act like a DJ and always introduce different songs, and then I'll play them on my little play my little 45s, and I was just so excited about that, and it always stuck. And I even had a chance to hang out with a DJ who he just he did it from the basement. He
Right.
had a ham station, and he would cut in into a radio, and we could hear him and things like that. So I've just been excited about being a DJ since I was around about 12 years old, 12 or 13, and things, and all the soul music that was going on back in '66 and '65, and things like that,
Yeah.
and so and listening to you and the Manhattans and all that is just, you know, now talking to you is a dream come true.
Thank you. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you and
Thank
be able to have a conversation about what's been going on in the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
you.
I would love it. Like, I would love it if you can kind of take us back really to the beginning of when you entered the Manhattans, because I know that they were obviously around before you came into the group. So
Exactly.
how did it how did it come to the point where you joined the Manhattans and obviously as the lead singer?
Well, I go back to the beginning. Um I come from a singing family. Um, my father was a singer. He sang gospel with his brothers and his uncles and cousins. And um, my uncle, the late Johnny Fields, was one of the founding members of the Five Blind Boys of Alabama. So I was around gospel music, and that's where I started with the gospel. And my uncle Johnny's oldest son, Dwight, he and I were like brothers. We would sing, go around and sing. So as we got older, we put together a group in high school called Gerald Austin and the New Imperials. And upon my graduation, I went to a junior college, Kittrell, right outside of Henderson, North Carolina. And the Manhattans were performing there. They were on tour with the Supremes. And it was Dinah had left. It was Gene Terrell and the Supremes. And they had some dates in between. They were going to Dallas. So they played at my college, and my professor asked if they could use our sound system. So I brought the sound system in, set it up, and I was testing it. And then walked the late Blue Lovett, Kenneth Kelly, and Richard Taylor, and the manager, and the stand in, Philip Flood. And all the guys have passed away except Philip and myself. But and the manager, she's still around somewhere. But anyway, um, they heard me singing, asked me to sing on the show, and I did. And that night they took my name and number, and they called me. That was like on a Thursday night, and they called me on a Sunday night. Actually, they called me Monday, that following Monday,
Okay.
and asked me to join the group. And they flew me down to Dallas, Texas, and I watched them perform with the Supremes for 10 days. I came back to New York, rehearsed for 2 weeks, and did my first date in Richmond, Virginia. And I've been with the group now 53 years.
Like given the fact you were in school at that time, like was that an immediate yes when they asked you to join, or like
Oh,
was
without a
there a
doubt.
process in that?
And see, I was too young to sign. So my mother and father had already signed my contract when they called me on that Monday. They noticed what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, and they know the group was a group of gentlemen, and so they signed it, and I flew right into Dallas, and here I am.
Mhm.
Wow. I can't imagine how that would have felt. Like what can you remember about like the feeling of, okay, now I'm in this band?
Well, I was nervous at first, but once I got to Dallas and watched the show for 10 days, I came down a little bit, and then when we got to New York to rehearse, it felt like I was with my original group. My group that I sang with was called Gerald Austin and the New Imperials,
Okay.
and we were a gospel group. We were the Gospel Jubilee on Sunday, and
Okay.
we were the Gerald Austin and the New Imperials on Friday and Saturday. So
Mhm.
I felt at home. Um, almost immediately with the guys.
Yeah.
Now,
No.
with
What?
your,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say with your, with the group that you were in, was there any, any, um, hmm, ill will?
Animosity or bad feeling.
Yes, exactly.
Well, actually, my cousin Dwight, I told you, was like my brother. When he found out that I had the opportunity, he was the first one to tell me, take it. He said,
Hmm.
because it doesn't come that easy. And see, he had a little more experience. He was older than I am, a couple of years, a year older, almost 2 years. And he'd been around the gospel situation since he was younger. And so he told me to go ahead and take the opportunity,
Yeah.
and I did. And that's another thing that relieved me when I left the Imperials to go with the Manhattans,
Yeah.
because I know I had gotten his approval because
Yeah.
we were very, very close.
That's nice. That's
And
nice.
and as it stands, later on, many years later, we separated, and many years later, we came back full circle. And when Blue Lovett passed away,
Hmm.
uh, Dwight became the fill-in for Blue, and so
Hmm.
we got a chance, which was his dream and mine, to sing professionally together.
Right.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, Blue, he was the bass. Is that
Yeah, he
right?
was the bass singer. Yeah,
And so so he filled in as with his bass sound.
yeah. Well, Dwight didn't really have a bass. He was more or less a baritone and tenor,
Okay.
but he could
Hmm.
he could sing the low note, not as
Yes.
low as Blue now,
Hmm.
but he filled it in. He did a wonderful job, and we were together. I think Dwight was there for quite a few years,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, he passed away. Yeah,
It's it has to feel good, like knowing what you've done for like I feel like you've done so much just for music today, and the way people are putting their songs together today. Um, what did you feel like coming into this, and obviously growing over the years as an artist? Like, what did you feel like you wanted to really represent and do for the culture of music? And
I wanted to leave a legacy of being one of the best singers out there. And I always knew that, and I've always known that there's always somebody better.
yeah,
So I tried my best, and I did my best at all times, even to this very day. Um, and I wanted to leave a legacy that I was one of the best, greatest singers that lived. And I'm still working on it.
yeah. Like,
Hmm.
did music continue? I know that you talked about the Five Blind Boys of Alabama, and obviously your cousin, and like, was music continuously like big throughout your entire family, and were other people doing music as well?
Yes, that was my uncle with the Blind Boys, my father and his group, the Gospel Brothers. My mother sang with my father's two sisters.
Okay.
She and one of her two sisters sang together. So they had a group. Um, and I sang in the choir at school. Um, I sang everywhere. We travel. We really travel a lot as Gerald Lawson and the New Imperials. We played all up and down North Carolina, East Coast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. We played that area quite a bit. And we were growing. We recorded a couple of records, but unfortunately, they were never released. But we recorded a couple of songs, few songs together. But singing has been in my family all my life,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
that's in my DNA.
When did you realize that you had a unique voice?
Wow.
That it was like a little bit more than someone else in
I
the
think
same
in my
class?
very first talent show, you know,
Hmm.
I remember I was in elementary school, and one of my teachers, former teachers, came over and asked the principal to let me out early to come over to sing in the talent show and rehearse. So I came over and I rehearsed, and I did Sam Cooke's version of Tennessee Waltz, and
Hmm.
got a standing ovation. And they started hollering, "We want more, we want more, we want more." And that's when I realized that
Yeah.
I had the potential, and it started from there. Even though a cousin and I had sang since we were small, that was the turning point that really made me want to go ahead and do this.
Mm. Oh yes. No, that's so nice. So very nice.
It's interesting because when I have talked to a lot of people, even over the past week, and I said, okay, I'm going to be talking to Gerald Austin, and up in Manhattan. It's like the first song that comes to people's mind is "Kiss and Say Goodbye." Um, obviously that was one of the biggest songs, if not the biggest songs, of the Manhattans.
Yeah, that is the biggest song that we had.
Like
Yeah.
so many people have come behind you guys and remade that song. I mean, you have UB40. You got a lot of people who have really touched on this song. Like, what does that feel like to know that so many people have come behind you and kind of taken something that you all put together and made it their own?
Well, that's another thing that inspired me to keep going. The songs that we recorded and wrote songs about everyday life, breaking up, going back together, cheating, and things that were really happening in love affairs. And that was a good thing because people could identify with it. They would relate to it. They tell you where they were when that song was released or when they heard it for the first time. And they made it a part of their life. And Kiss and Say Goodbye was one of those songs.
Mm,
And not just in the United States, but all around the world. That song
Hmm.
hearts of people because that's something that everybody, um, you know, could relate to.
yeah.
Did
And go ahead.
did you in the studio? Did you guys have a team of writers that worked with you? Like did you go to the writers and took a song, and or did you also help with the writing with the team of writers?
Well, basically, we did our own writing,
Mm.
except there was one guy, young gentleman, Ted Randazzo. He was a great musician, great songwriter. He's he wrote quite a few of the hits for Little Anthony and the Imperials. Excuse me. He wrote, um, and he wrote for a lot of the pop artists.
Hmm.
Um, why I keep saying Vicky Carr. He did stuff like that for a pop artist, and he played every instrument. Also, he was
Mm.
just about every instrument, and he had a perfectly pitched ear.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
he also was an entertainer. He used to do the cruise ships. He used to
Mm.
and sing and piano on the cruise ships.
Oh wow,
That was
man.
one. He was one of the writers that we wrote with that
Hmm.
wrote songs for us more than
Hmm.
any other than next to us writing ourselves.
Hmm.
You know,
And how, like, when I hear songs and I hear the lyrics and they go so good together. I mean, do would you just like write down something, this line, and then the next line, do you just find something that rhymes with it, or how does it just, it
well,
just.
usually it's the story. You get an
Hmm.
idea, and the story comes to your mind, or you form a story, and then you're
Hmm.
writing it. And you would try to make it rhyme, but importantly was the story itself. And
Hmm.
it would always click. Once you got into it, it would click. Sometimes it would take, you could write a song in a couple of minutes. Then there were times it may take you a couple of weeks, may take you,
Hmm.
you know,
I've
but
heard that before.
it depends on the feeling. But as long as you got a story, you could put it together. And you would take time so that you could have the rhyme scheme together and never and not take away from the story. You wanted to rhyme verses line by line or the lines to rhyme, but you didn't want to take away from the story.
Hmm. Very nice.
That was important.
Yeah. Like, how do you feel like? What do you feel has been the biggest change like today versus when you were putting songs together all these years ago?
Well, today, songs are, they don't leave anything to, some of them don't leave too much to the imagination.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the songs today, the younger generation, it sells, it makes money. So that's why the industry go that way. But they go right to the point about what's
Hmm.
instead of building it up to a point, telling that story. And I think that is the difference between our writing and Troy, a gentleman, one of the members of the group of the Manhattans today. He always used the term. Um, the younger generations today write tunes, but we write songs.
Hmm.
And
No, wow.
that's the difference.
Okay, that's okay. And like you said, you would build a story, and and you could let people sort of imagine what
Exactly.
you do, and they could get into it because you know, it means something to each person. But the way you build it, it leaves room for them to imagine. You
Exactly.
know, instead of getting straight to the point, they get straight to the point. Well, you know what that's about. You
Yeah,
know.
that's it. You don't
Mm,
have anything to sing about anymore. But
that's right.
the good part of it is that people, fans remember us from that. They they took it as a part of their lives. I've heard people come to us and say, "This song is a part of my life. This song, I remember I got married, listened to this song, or this song, Shining Star. We played it out,
Mhm,
we danced off it."
mhm,
You know,
mhm.
um, and I've had people come and say, "I got rid of my boyfriend or my girlfriend. We kiss and say goodbye." You know, but
And
it's
you,
the point of memory,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
good memories. Maybe not all the time when you break up, but it's those are memories that people cherish and hold on to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
There's
know
a
that.
before you go on, Dad. There's a comment actually down at the bottom. Cat Queen. She said, "I miss when lyrics were clever and kind of sneaky with the innuendos. Like, do you ever think it'll get back to that place where people are clever with their wordplay?"
I believe it will because um, you don't remember. This is the way I figure. I've been with the group 53 years. There's No Me Without You was recorded in 1972. 1972. It was released in 73. And people today still remember that song. They remember a lot of the songs, Kiss and Say Goodbye, Hurt,
Mhm,
Shining Star, We Never Danced to a Love Song. They
mhm.
remember those songs because those songs have substance. Try and remember some of the songs that are
Yeah.
released today, 10 years from now, 5 years. And you may remember a hook line, but you will never remember the story,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know? And you can't, you can't, you won't be able to say what that, really say what that song meant to you.
Hmm.
Difference.
I know that every time I think about and listen to, I'll never find another find
Mhm.
another like man that knocks me out. That knocks me out. I love that song. I
And,
love that. Yes.
and by the
Yes.
way, the young lady's question, I believe it will come back around because
Yeah.
over the years that we've been singing, music has gone around, like from doo wop to disco to hip hop to rap. you know, and even though rap has stayed around longer than a lot of us anticipated it would be, it's still going to go because a lot of the rap songs, some of the back music that you hear are songs that were recorded by artists of the 70s,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. Mhm.
or their rap is written from what they in conjunction or with the, what one of our songs are about.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so,
And it's interesting you say that because I find that a lot more artists today are pulling from songs like from the 70s and from the 60s and from the
yeah.
80s.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that you're start is becoming more prevalent. You're
Hmm.
seeing people who are really paying attention to the music of yesterday and the impact that it made and the difference that it made and how much
Yeah.
people are really into it.
Mhm. And so it is. So the songwriting, is it mostly collaborative with everyone in the group and the studio? You
Well,
know.
it varies because when I joined the group, the late Sonny Bivens, and Blue Lovett, late Blue Lovett, did a lot of the writing. And
Mhm.
when I just the original lead singer, George Smith, he did write, he wrote, and so all of us did some writing. Sometimes
Mhm.
we would collaborate on it, and sometimes
Mhm.
they would do the whole song. So it varied.
Mhm. And I did you also um, remake "If My Heart Could Speak"?
Yes, we
I thought you did. I thought you did. Yeah.
excuse me, on our after I think it's After Midnight album.
Mhm.
We wanted to redo that along with one of our older tunes, which is one of my first tunes I recorded, One Life to Live. And
Yes.
so we put together a medley and recorded it, and it worked perfectly. And I
Mhm.
love If My Heart Could Speak. That is a beautiful song. That was
Mhm.
Kenneth Kelly.
Mhm. That was the lead on that, Kenneth
But
Kelly.
no,
Oh.
Smitty, originally, George Smith did the lead on it, and,
Mhm.
and Kenneth wrote it. And
Okay. Mhm.
I did another rendition of it years
Mhm.
later in the 80s, 1980.
Mhm. I remember that. I remember that. It sounded very well, very nice, and things like that. That I always seem to use that um, when uh when I used to talk to the girls a lot. You know.
Listen,
If
my father, if I can let you in on a little secret, my father has I'm gonna just say my father has been the biggest ladies man that I have ever known.
oh
So
yeah.
I think he was using your music along with some of everybody else's to get everything.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me, um, uh, younger people younger than I, my parents conceived me on this song. You know,
Mhm. Yes.
yeah, I have heard that a lot.
I'm the love songs that they made in the '60s and '70s, I just think that they it's hard to match them and things because the writing was so well so
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and sometimes a lot of the writing was songs were written about that particular person, the writer, or they've
Mm.
gone through that, or they may have seen somebody go through it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
that's what made it so personal to our fans because it was personal. Sometimes it was personal about us, and then they could relate to it that they had an experience like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got a comment down at the bottom. She said, "Oh, so y'all are a couple of Casanovas."
What can I say? What can I say?
Now, I think it's really cool. Like, kind of talk a little bit about, you know, obviously you were singing lead for the Manhattans for, I don't know, 18 years, 19 years, but then you shifted into a solo career. Like
Yeah,
what was that transition like for you now to obviously be writing the whole song, and it's so much
yeah.
more work that you're putting into it as a soloist, and
Now
not.
that was a little different because um, I wrote. I will collaborate. I collaborated with a couple of the producers on songs, and it happened spontaneous, right in the studio. And I also did some writing on my own, but it was a different thing. It was the after recording, I realized that, and going out to perform, that it was different in that people only watched, they had to watch me. There was nobody else on stage moving around like the fellas
Mhm.
to kind of spread your vision on the stage. Everything was on me. And it was challenging at first, but I have no regrets about it. None at all. And I loved it. And I enjoyed it. I toured um, with Whitney Houston for 45 days in Europe. I toured with Natalie Cole, and I also toured with David Peaston in
I remember David
Europe.
Keith.
Yeah, and we also, as a solo artist, I toured with Stephanie Mills. Um, so I had a chance to work with the divas and some great singers, male singers.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was a wonderful experience.
I know something is, like I said, just things just kind of hit me right quick. And with you being a wonderful singer, I noticed on a couple of songs that I was getting you and um, Eddie Levert kind of like, boy, they sound the same a little bit, especially the way you phrase the song. And, ooh wee. Now I'm not, but just you guys just
Yeah,
sound. So did
I
you?
think um, performing with artists, different artists, and special artists you like, you would find yourself, you may do one or two of their licks in a song,
Yes.
or Eddie was when I first started singing, he was one of the few artists that I watched,
Mhm.
and Eddie was so emotional on stage, and
Mhm.
I thought it was a wonderful thing to watch him. He just he would sing with his voice. He would sing with enthusiasm, but he also had the physical part to go with it. I remember Eddie used to break mic stands every night that he performed. He'd break a mic stand, and but they
Mhm.
knew it. That was Eddie, and Eddie had his own style, his own way of talking, and there were some things that um, he did that I liked that I used to do. Um,
Mhm.
but I think I just took some of his energy and the things that he was doing and um, put Gerald in it and made
Yes.
it my way. Did my
Yes.
thing, not exactly
Mhm.
sounding like him, but the
Mhm.
energy. And
Yes.
we talked about that a long time. And
Mhm.
he was surprised when I told him that. He
Mhm.
really never knew that I
Mhm.
used to watch him. When I first got in the group, we played with the OJs. And I'll never forget Richie said, "You need to watch Eddie. You need to watch Eddie. Not to sing like him, but just watch him and see how he takes control of the stage." And I did. And
Mhm.
Eddie
Mhm.
had he was very confident when he was on that stage.
Mhm.
You know, even to
And-
this day, he's confident. And that's another thing that added to I added to my little toolbox, to
Mhm.
have more confidence. I've always been confident on stage, but I began to try things that I would normally try on stage. I'll be straight up singing, and but now I talk more. I have to talk more now. But back then, I started talking and relating
Mhm.
my songs to people and talking to people in the audience, and that was the part of the growing up that I
Hmm.
received. Yeah,
And you do have such a great voice. You have a phenomenal. I mean, the way you phrase things and your delivery, it's just wonderful. It's very wonderful.
thank you.
And I know I'm gonna mess up, but you guys were here in Cleveland within the last year or
Yeah,
two. Yeah, and we were at that show. We were at the show, and
all right.
it was so wonderful. It was
Yeah,
wonderful.
I used to love to go to Cleveland and perform at the front row. Oh
Oh yeah.
my
Oh yeah.
God,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
was awesome. The first time that Eddie and I sang something together was at the front row. He
Mhm.
was in the audience, and that night, and we did "Kiss and Say Goodbye." Bye.
That is
We did an
wow.
encore, and Blue called Eddie on stage, and Eddie kept telling me, "Man, I don't know this song." I said, "Eddie, you know what the song is all about. Go for it." And he
Mhm.
ran to the other side of the stage, and I was on one side, and he just started singing, and I started singing back and forth, and the audience went absolutely bananas. They
Yeah.
went crazy, and
Mhm.
that was the first time that I had a chance to be on the stage with him at the same time and
Mhm.
singing together.
Wow. Yes. That's something else. Something else. Mhm.
Yeah, that's back some time. The front row, like, cause how long's the front row been gone now?
Oh my God, 20 years,
Yeah, it's been a
maybe
long time.
longer than that.
Yeah.
Um,
I know
a
it's not
lot of
in.
a lot of the theaters and
Yeah.
around that they closed up. Circle Star, um, Front Row, and Valley
Mhm.
Forge. They closed them down. I know one in Valley Forge. They built a shopping center. Uh,
Mhm. Mhm. They've
I don't
changed.
know what happened at Front Row.
I think they did the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
got a shot.
and I believe they did the same thing at the Circle Star in San Francisco.
Hmm. I remember going to the front row, running late, and had a date, and we got out the car real fast to go. But then I noticed that I was running by myself, and then I realized they were still in the car because I guess being a gentleman, they were not going to open the door. I had to open the door for them to get out. And then
And you left them in the car.
yeah, I thought I was running by myself. I'm like, where they at? And they was like, uh I'm like, oh God, I got to go and open the door. I was young, stuff like that, and realized that I had to be a gentleman and
Yeah,
things and stuff like that. But we were going to the front row.
yeah. Now what I loved about the front row is that everybody could see us, but our fans, our fan base, it was enormous, and the place would be packed every night, and the reception and the love that we received from our fans in Cleveland was off the chain. The last
Hmm.
time we were there, it was the same thing. We
Oh
played
yeah,
the what's the name of the theater?
was it the oh
Yeah,
my gosh, right on the tip of my tongue,
right.
downtown.
Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Yes, we played downtown at uh, gosh, it's eluding me right now.
Everybody who's looking at this knows
Yep,
that.
yep. And
Mhm.
in fact, um, I did the Sam Cooke tribute music. The Sam Cooke Music Master was
Mhm.
given by Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I performed on that. And it was Aretha Franklin, Lou Rawls, uh,
Mhm.
Elvis Costello, Sissy Houston, uh,
Wow.
Highway QCs. Oh God, it was a whole host of us, and
Mm.
we performed for 2 days.
I
And
know
then
that was.
there was a chance, and Solomon Burke, and we
Mm.
did. That was a chance that I got to perform with on the same stage with Aretha Franklin
Mm. Oh, I know that
and
was.
Lou Rawls. Yeah,
With the bass voice, Lou Rawls.
yeah.
Hmm. Yes, And I think of you and all those singers, and you guys were so great and still great, and it just runs right through me just to think about those songs and stuff. I know I was growing up at that time, and I guess they meant a lot to me. And some songs you learn about life through the
Yeah,
song, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And you guys had, like you said, plenty of songs that we was able to um, go through life and kind of emulate what the songs were about, and
exactly.
that definitely helped.
That's what it was. That is exactly what it was all about. People could relate to those songs, you know, and I still do. Anytime I record now, if I write a song or somebody submit a song, if I choose to sing it, it's because it tells a story. It has some substance.
And of course, and it means something to you to
Exactly.
be able to want to record that song.
Right.
And so,
Right.
hmm
Because my father always instilled in me that when you sing, know the song, not just the lyrics, but know the song itself. Know what that song is talking about. Know what it means. And then you can sing that song from your heart and be truthful about it.
hmm
And that's
hmm
what I've always been able to do. I thank God for that, is to
hmm
learn the song other than just the lyrics. Just know the story.
But I
hmm
think that's where a lot of musicians go wrong today is just the whole ability, like the lack of storytelling. Like you kind of don't really get anything out of it. You can't really,
Yeah.
figure out what the song is really about because they're not really telling the story.
hmm They just singing the hook.
Yeah,
Sing a few lines and it's very, very repetitive and
yeah.
some, you know.
hmm
So
What do
Oh,
you feel it is that has what do you feel it is that has kept you here for as long as you have, obviously for as long as you've been in this industry
well,
and still working?
it's the love of music and knowing that we still have fans. We have young fans too. You know,
Oh, yeah.
we South Africa, South America, Japan. You know, we've played in different countries around the world, and even though they can't speak those countries, a lot of people can't speak English, and we don't speak French. I don't speak French, Japanese, you know, or any of the African dialects, but they all understood. They understand the lyrics to our
hmm
song, and they know the story. And just like we went to South Africa, our music was passed down from their parents. And we found out that during apartheid, the majority of the families in South Africa and radio also played the Manhattans during apartheid. We were one of the top groups that music was played during that time.
hmm Oh man, all right. I got a question. Over the years, and with you being in the business and things like that, have you ever had any challenges um, with your voice at all? Because, like, I know that I would hear that some people may not sing correctly, so they might strain their voice or something, and maybe develop polyps or things like that. I mean, I know your voice always sounded great. Did you ever have any challenges where, gosh, I can't sing
Yeah.
tonight, or anything
And
like?
I think it was 83, 1983. I got polyps. And it was actually 82 into 83. And I remember we played Detroit, and my voice was totally gone when I got home. And the doctor put me on voice rest. And the guys, they brought in a gentleman from Cleveland, Marvin Yancey. I'm sorry, what was Marvin? Marvin Young, I'm sorry. He came in and stood in my place and he worked, and I was on voice rest from like the end of December of 82 till March of 83.
Mm-hmm.
February of '83, because no, it was March of '83. My first date after my polyps, I went to Japan, and we did the military, and but I did, and I had surgery, and I stayed on voice rest up until that time.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
I had to take vocal lessons, vocal. I had a vocal coach to help me get the strength
Mm-hmm.
back, and to be
Mm-hmm.
able to perform again the right
Had
way.
mm-hmm. Had you or have you say since then? Had you ever feared that that would come back again? Maybe there was a way that you would sing after that that may would that you were trying to. I mean, I'm just saying that not literally, but like take the easy way out. Oh, I won't hit that note because that might make me feel like I'm getting positive. Well,
Well,
You know.
I've learned through vocal coaching, I've learned that as you get older, you can't hit all those notes the same way. And you learn how to, and keep the same emotion. You learn how to do it differently. And
Hmm.
some
Hmm.
nights that I feel like I can hit certain notes, I hit them. The nights that I don't feel like it, I don't push myself. I just keep the emotion of the song. And the
Yeah.
audience never know the difference, but they know, but I know that I did it to relax my voice. And as you get older, you do have to change. Sometimes you have to change the way you sing those songs. And
Hmm.
very few artists today, very few artists today can continually sing songs in the original keys they did back in the '70s and early '80s.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you just through vocal coaching, um, you learn how to adjust and make it happen without losing the force and the power.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and of course you sound just as good now as you did then, and uh, and your voice just continuously bringing emotion. It sets the tone and everything. It's a very wonderful voice.
Thank you. Tonight we're in Toronto and Brompton, which is right out suburb of Toronto. We're performing this evening at the Jamaica Day Festival, and I'm looking forward to it. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it.
Now, I have a
Mhm.
question in reference to that, but actually, one of the questions from one of the viewers, she said, do you still get vocal lessons or voice lessons?"
Yes, I have. I have. What I did, I've learned to record my vocal lessons, and then there's sometimes you need to go. I use those to rehearse or go over to keep me in shape. And then there's sometimes you have to go back to your coach and let him or her, you know, go through a lesson, and they can notice the change in your voice, and they can teach you how to go a different way, or teach you more how to relax, and deal with it. So I
Mhm.
do from time to time. Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
you said that you have a show tonight. Like, what do you do to really prep for that show and
well
obviously keep your voice together?
we're on tonight early, so before I go on, I'll do some vocal exercises,
Okay,
get warmed up.
gotcha.
Mhm. Mhm. Mm.
Now,
in
I
fact
think. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
in fact we're on in about 45 minutes.
So we're gonna wrap this up real quick.
Yeah.
I really was just gonna say I think this has been really amazing. I think one of the final things I really wanted to get to is current day. Like I know your last project was released 2015 ish.
Mhm.
That was the True Gospel.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? And I know you're obviously out doing shows and touring and still doing that type of thing. Is there new music coming now, or
Well, I haven't started yet, but I've been talking to one of my producers about it. And on my gospel album, by the way, my two sons performed with me on their car, Todd Alston and Calvin. And also, he now has a Calvin has an album out now. Um, it's called Honesty Hour, and he's doing some singing and rapping. My other son, he haven't recorded anything yet, but I intend to do another gospel album and
Okay.
use my sons to sing with me again.
I think that's
Mhm.
amazing. I always, and I think I told you this the last time that we talked and we were on with Cal. Like, I think it's amazing how much he has learned about this industry. You know, obviously to be so young, like there's so much that he knows, and I know that he's teaching you a lot. Clearly, you're teaching him a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's really good that the two of you are able to work together at something that you're both really
Yeah.
passionate about.
Well, one thing that I've taught him, and very important, you know, you got the gift to sing, you know, you got the gift to rap, and you know, you have to gift to write. Write songs that are good, keep God first, and stay humble.
Absolutely,
Stay humble. Never get too big for your friends. Never get
Mhm.
too big that you can't sign the autograph, take a picture, or
Mhm.
get up early in the morning. See, back in the day, we used to get up early in the morning and do radio interviews for drive time in the morning, you know.
Mhm.
And but um, you got to stay humble.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I think that goes. I think that's a lesson that goes for you know, whatever it is that you're doing. You got to stay humble, and that's something that I'm grateful that I can say that I learned from my father. I learned from my mother is, you know, to work hard and stay humble.
That's
And
it. Work.
that's
That,
teaching out here.
that that's the whole thing. You know,
Absolutely,
that's the whole thing. Another thing, you learn from your mistakes. Some people
absolutely.
get, oh God, I made a mistake. No, every mistake is is a reason to persevere.
Yeah,
Every mistake is a lesson to learn.
absolutely,
Mhm. That's
And
true.
God, sure, He wants you to. When you make that mistake, He teaches you to go forward so that you can overcome that and do better and
Yeah.
another for you. So
Mhm.
yeah,
It sounds like you haven't had much stage fright because of the presence of your voice and the way you deliver and things like that.
yeah. I used to, but um, it's a lot better. I still get a little
Mhm.
nervous before, even
And
though
I heard something about if you are a little nervous, that's what makes you perform better. If
exactly.
you just think that it's okay and I can do this, sometimes you don't have that same type of drive and energy where
Yeah,
the nervousness is what makes you try to do the best that you can.
yeah.
If you're not paralyzed by by the nervousness, you know. Hmm.
now I think this has been really, really amazing. I don't want to hold you up too long. I know you got a show coming up in less than 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you really wanted to get out there with this conversation?
Well, I just wanted to thank all my fans for their many years of support, and that they can follow us on Instagram, the Manhattans featuring Gerald Olson. This goes the Manhattans featuring FGA. It's the same thing for Facebook as well. Um, and we do have a website, let's just kiss and say goodbye.com. You know, and check us out. See where how we're doing, where we are. And also again, I just like to remind my fans to check out my son, Cal.
Now
Can I ask?
you're a
Can I
professional
ask
with this because that was going to be my next question: is the social media and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Um, you know, again, I want to say, and I know you had something to say, Dad. I was just going to say, I think this has been really amazing. You know, obviously, this is the second time that I've had a chance to really have a conversation, have a conversation with you. I
hmm
think that it's definitely it's been amazing for me. I love to be able to kind of go back and actually talk to the people who were here before and who laid the foundation and who put the groundwork in and who really, you know, made a lot of what's happening today.
yeah,
And then I also want to use this vehicle and this platform to reach out to the people and kind of spotlight the people who I feel have helped me, you know, in this process of being able to do media and to
yeah,
do something that I love. So I appreciate you even just for coming on this platform and blessing the platform. It definitely means a lot. And then, you know, with me being able to do this with my dad, I think that was amazing too. Did you want
Yeah.
to throw something else in there, Dad?
Yeah, I probably should throw it in earlier on. Is that you that you did go solo, but then you came back to the Manhattan.
Yeah.
Uh, what was the catalyst behind that?
Well, actually, a friend of mine, the late Al Goodman from Ray Goodman and Brown, we were talking one day, and he said, "Why don't you guys?" It was our reunion, 30. It was our 30th year. He said, "Why don't you come together and do a 30th reunion?" And so I called Blue, and we talked about it, and we decided to do it. And we were only going to do it for, for a few months, and
Hmm.
it ended to be over 30 years later. We're still doing it.
Oh, that's great. That's nice. Yes, yes. That's it's so good to hear you guys together. As also when you did the solo
Yeah.
career too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, once again, man, I really want to say thank you. I want to say have an amazing and blessed show tonight.
Thank
And
you.
I look forward to being able to do this again. I'm definitely looking forward. I've been talking to Tangi about getting back with Cal too because I know that he's got a lot going on. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys and for what you're doing and what you're teaching the culture and what you're doing to really uplift and continue to build the culture. So
Right.
thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, very nice meeting you. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. All right.
This will stay on my heart, if you will.
All
Thank
right. You
you.
have a good show, man.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So what's your thought? Did you have a good time doing this?
I did, and I noticed that the questions do come from other from answers that
Oh yeah.
you can have some other questions too, and so I did. I liked it. It was okay, and matter of
I think
fact, kind of impromptu would have been better than if I had a research. I mean, I've got a research. I'm just
yeah.
saying,
Yeah, you gotta research, but I think
but
where a lot of people go wrong is they kind of research too much, and
mm,
it seems rehearsed. Uh,
yes, that's what I was
versus,
looking for. Yeah, yeah.
versus you being able to just kind of go off the top of your head, and you still want to have kind of some blanket questions, in case you draw a blank and you got to go
Mhm.
to something. At least you kind of got something to refer back to. But I've
Yes,
always
yes.
found it easier, and I think I was the same way in the very beginning, but that was I don't know 23 years ago. I've been doing this since 2001.
Hmm.
So
And I
once you really get
mhm.
to having a conversation, then it kind of goes back and forth, and before you know it, you've been on for an hour and 15 minutes because it's 6:15. So
Yeah. Hmm.
before you know it, you've been on that time. And it was pretty cool because people were kind of jumping in and, asking questions and that sort of thing. And I had
Hmm.
it on Facebook so people were able to see it and they saw that we were live. And uh,
Yeah.
Tiffany and
And
Kat were on there.
I
Tiffany
see.
and his daughter
Yeah.
were on there.
Hmm.
Were you able to see the comments as they were popping up on the screen?
I seen some. I seen some, and because I did see Tiffany's name,
Yeah.
I didn't notice too many more,
Yeah.
but I know that people were chiming in, and things
Well,
like that.
yeah, Cat Queen, she was putting a lot of comments in there too. That's one of Kathy's daughters.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I remember her working with you before
Yeah,
and
she
things like
they
that.
both are with me now on one of the other podcasts.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. That's
So yeah,
good.
so I thought this was pretty good. I mean, how did you feel overall? Obviously this was your first time, so I could tell that you were a little nervous, but I thought
Yeah.
that you did good though.
Hmm.
I thought you
I
did well.
I I like it. I would think um I would like I would like to think about it and
Yeah,
and sort of maybe do it from time to time.
yeah.
Um,
I
because
mean,
I
it's not
do
like to rush into or anything like that.
yeah, because I want to I want to see. I'm not saying it's gonna work, but I want to um have my imagination open
Yeah,
for a lot of the things that maybe, like I said, once I do it or once I get into it, I'm like, no, I don't think I want that. But at least I want to try it. I mean, it's not much, but I mean, I believe it or not, if I could get myself in order, I still want to see what I could do with these two guitars. That I mean, I've always, I got close. because I think me and you talked about it. I got close when I was taking the music lessons and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, and I gotta, and I'm realizing with my age and challenges that no, I'm not gonna do any concerts and all and stuff, you know. But it's like, you know, can you see it? You know, I can't remember the lines and stuff like that. But it's just like every time things that I've always wanted to do, I'm just,
Yeah.
you know, it might be a week of doing them and go, okay, I done it, and or something like that.
I mean,
But
some
it was
stuff you just want to be able. Some stuff you just want to be able to say that you've done it.
yes, I really tried to see where I could be, because even when you know, I still knock myself in the head because I mean I remember you guys were small. And when you guys were small, I was taking acting, you know, say just like your auntie, Essie, and I was like top of the class as far as you know performing and doing things for the class. And then the teacher was like, "Okay, you know, it's a play coming up and things, and I really want you guys from my class to go down and audition for it and stuff like that." And I remember not particularly auditioning, but because of when they talked about the auditioning, they said, okay, and it's going to be from 5 to 6 or from 7 to 8, and I'm like, I work at that time, you know, and I didn't have the wherewithal to even want to try, I just got at the clinic. I wasn't going to try to change my schedule, so
Right.
it's like that dream went out the door, you know, and then I had a couple of more, and they went out the door, and so it's just like I said, these dreams that I have may just take a week to go. Okay,
Well, I don't think anything's wrong with it. I mean, you're at a place in
and
your life where you kind of have time to figure some stuff out, and you can try some stuff and see if you like it and see if you don't like it. Just like I'm at a place in my life where I'm not doing anything that don't have nothing to do with the passion.
with
So
you don't have
I,
anything
that
to do
I'm
with
not doing anything that does not have anything to do with my passion of
yes,
media.
yes,
Or so
exactly. That's what I'm
I
saying.
get it,
That's what,
and I think it makes sense. And just keep trying stuff. I mean, this was just an opportunity to do something and have a good time and see how you like it. And I mean, you don't have to make no decisions, and you don't have to rush into nothing or jump into nothing. But it was
and
an
from
opportunity.
time to time, I would like to sit in, you
Yeah,
know.
that's fine. I mean, we can do that or whatever you feel like you want to do.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
This was just an opportunity to kind of get your feet wet and see what it's like and see if you
Oh,
like
and it was great, and it was great,
it. Really good.
and I
I mean, I
learned.
think that it made more sense for it to be somebody who is of your era because
Yeah,
then you kind of like there, even though you were doing research, like there's a lot of stuff that you knew already,
yeah,
so it made it easier for you to actually have a conversation with them because you knew stuff about them already, and then everything
exactly.
that you were researching was extra.
Yes, yes. So and sometimes when you like maybe it's someone that I haven't heard of, but maybe it's one of those times when you say, "Well, Dad, you haven't hooked up with me for a week or two or a couple of weeks." Then I may, try to at least it may be someone that I don't know. Just like say when I came to the situation where you was interviewing someone, I think about the plays or how popular they were here in Cleveland, but I had never heard of them before, So I might go,
Yeah,
oh, let me find out about them. But I would
yeah,
like to not um, um, retire this type of broadcasting after one time. So, I'm already hooked that I do want to try sometimes again with you.
yeah. We'll do
And
some more.
yeah, yeah, and then see how things can go
Yeah,
along the way and stuff. But
yeah.
it was
We'll do. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll do some more. But
Mhm.
hold that thought for 1 second. I'm just gonna thank everybody for tuning in. This was a really good opportunity. I'm really happy to have gotten this platform off the ground because I've really been talking about it for about 2 years. So with me building this podcast network and radio station is launching next month, um, I was ready to get this off the ground and actually start doing something with it um, instead of just letting it sit aside. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can watch the playback on Facebook. It is on YouTube. It will be on ugdigital.com. It actually should have been running on ugdigital.com already, but I hadn't added the link to the page. So I'm actually working on rebuilding the website because there's a lot of stuff that I'm adding to it now. So it'll be up on there. It'll also be on Apple TV and Roku, and we're working on getting audio up on Spotify and iTunes and all of that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to catch it in a lot of places. But for right now, you can watch the replay on YouTube and Facebook. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching. This is my dad. Give him a
Hey,
hand because
all right.
I think he did really, really good today. I appreciate you guys for welcoming him in, and I will see you guys next Sunday. I don't have my guest yet, so I'm working on getting my guest for next Sunday now. But I'll be back live at 7 p.m. with Open Letters to a Survivor with Lady Poet Cassandra Williams and K Love. So that'll be at 7 o'clock tonight. That will be on ugdigital.com. It'll be on Facebook and YouTube as well. So I will see you guys next Sunday.
Okay.